Hi there, I'm Bear Grylls and I'm so proud to become the Chief Ambassador for World Scouting. This is such an exciting time to be joining the World Scouting family, and it's always humbling to be reminded of all the incredible work that Scouts are doing, whether in refugee camps with displaced Syrian kids or Scouts helping save lives in the Sudan, always doing their best to make the world a better place. It's about being active in our communities, promoting global citizenship and building lifelong skills, friends and adventures. I'm so looking forward to getting to know you all and serving you as your Chief Ambassador. Keep scouting and never give up.
Scouting movement goes across borders around the world.
Yeah.
And it actually started in your backyard.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. The scouting started back in 1907 over in England on Brownsea Island with Baden Powell, and then started here in Ireland in 1908. So it's been going for a long time since then. I mean, there's over 56 million scouts worldwide. I mean, the United States has over 1 million members. We here in Ireland have over 50,000 members, both adults and kids. Kids from 6-year-old to 25-year-olds, and scouting is worldwide. And like as you say, we had the international context on the course that we were with, and I was back in Summit Bechtel Reserve about 3.5 years ago for the last World Scout Jamboree, and there was just under 45,000 of us there.
Right.
But then when we were on the course, quite a few of the course staff were actually staff members at that same jamboree, and one or two I got to meet again that I hadn't seen for 3.5 years. Yeah.
Well, I know at the World Scouting Jamboree, one of the most coveted items was the neckerchief that I am donning here that you were very graciously able to bring with you to Woodbridge. So thank you so much for it. I love it, and wearing it proudly today. We'll be wearing it during our meeting as well.
Good on you, Chris. Yeah, the Irish neckerchief is one of the most sought after neckerchiefs at any international events, but particularly at World Scout Jamborees. Like I get my two as usual, part of my allocation we're given, but I always end up buying quite a few more to do swaps with certain people who I know will be on the hunt for an Irish neckerchief. Yeah.
So I'm curious. You mentioned the scouting in Ireland goes from age 5 to 25. You said
no, from 6 to 25.
6 to 25. So tell us a bit about the programs there.
Okay, well we have 5 sections within Scouting Ireland. We have Beaver Scouts, which are 6 to 8-year-olds. Then we have Cub Scouts, which are 8 to 11-year-olds. Then Scouts themselves from 11 to 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Venture Scouts, then 16 to 18. And then when you become an adult, then we have Rover Scouts, then from 18 to 25.
Okay, so you can go almost all the way through college and still have a full scouting experience from kindergarten to college.
Yeah, exactly, because there's a lot of universities here in Ireland that have Scouts and Guide clubs, which are for those over 18-year-olds that still want to stay involved in scouting. They mightn't be able to stay within their own local scouting back in another part of Ireland, but they may be up in Dublin or Galway,
mm-hmm.
and they've joined the local Scout and Guide club, and they still keep in contact. Yeah.
So how old were you when you got involved with scouting?
I started as a young. I'm now 53, going on 53. It doesn't matter. Age is only a number. I started when I was a young 7-year-old as a Cub Scout, and then I've been in it since. So I'm in it over 45 years.
Now, since you're talking to a group of Cubs here with us, what would you say were some of your fondest memories going back to your Cub days?
Oh, the outdoor activities and going away on the pack holiday,
mm-hmm.
For the weekend with all the other Cubs. Like it was the first time I was away from my parents and from home and that, and that broke down. At first it was scary, but then got used to it, and I've never looked back since.
How about
now? And that was only traveling within a couple 100 miles of Kilkenny or wherever.
Right.
But now I travel scouting all over the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you from West Virginia. I know you've traveled throughout the United States representing Ireland in a multitude of functions and activities there. So, as well as, are you planning on going to the World Scouting Jamboree in
Yeah,
Japan?
there's a World Scout Jamboree on this year in South Korea,
South
which
Korea.
is
That's
on
right.
which is on a week after the BSA National Scout Jamboree this year. So this when I go to this World Scout Jamboree, this will be my fifth one.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Are there any memories from the World Scout Jamborees, aside from the names, the faces, the friends that we've made along the way? Any key core memories that really stick out from any of the ones that you've experienced?
Yeah, I've had a few, all right. And I have to say, the one in 2007 in the UK is special because that was the year of 100 years of scouting. And on the 1st of August 2007 was exactly 100 years of scouting. And we all got up early that morning at, could be 5 o'clock in the morning, to see the dawn of a new century of scouting and the sunrise and all. And went down to the main arena, and again, 37,000 people there just for one reason, for scouting. And then likewise at one or two others, but particularly in Sweden, we with the team I was working with, special guest services, which we look after the VIPs, ambassadors, all. We to look after the king and queen of Sweden for 10 days, and we were actually able to walk up to them, have a chat with them, got to know them. Yeah, lovely people. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And I believe I remember you saying at one point that the king and queen are so involved with scouting that they will just, do anything for scouts in Sweden.
Oh yeah, the king is particularly involved in scouting because he's chairman of the World Scout Foundation, which is a fund that raises millions of dollars and euro every year for scouting, and he would preferably stay in a tent at a World Jamboree than go to the local hotel. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, with that, thank you very much for your time, boys and girls. This is Aidan from Kilkenny,
Hi
Ireland.
guys. Yeah, Kilkenny, Ireland. Kilkenny's in the southeast of Ireland. It's an old historical medieval city, and where ye in the States always think that something about 200 years old is old, I have a cathedral outside my front door that's over 800 years old, and I see it every day. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Thank you very much. We will
Hey
talk
Chris,
to you
no
soon.
problem at all. Absolutely, and say hello to everyone for me.
We shall.
And talk to you soon.
I think some people are leaders by nature, but the scouting, you can help people to become good leaders. You can pull forward the good values in a boy and a girl and help them to understand what leadership is. And it's always about interaction between people and to understand people. I would like to find the real heroes in the Swedish society, the young people, and show to other young people that these are the real heroes and who does something extraordinary things for the society.
Well, hey, boys and girls. One other person that we're going to be talking to today is Erik Claster. I met Erik again at Wood Badge, and this amazing gentleman is actually leading and spearheading an initiative in Israel. And as you can see by the label on his shirt, it is Boy Scouts Israel. So, Erik, welcome here.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited. Wood Badge was such a wonderful experience, and this is one of the pluses, is this extended network of scouters all over the world.
Yeah, and I told Aidan that the biggest thing that I got out of Wood Badge was friends. And he says, it's not just Wood Badge, it's all the jamborees, world jamborees, national jamborees. When you're able to get everyone together from around the world in one place, he got to stay with the King of Sweden. How does that happen?
Well,
But
life is good at the in the scout world, I guess.
yeah, well, and from the stories you told us, life is good in Israel with BSI. So tell us a little bit about your scouting experience. You grew up here in the States, correct?
That's right. That's right. I actually grew up in Overland Park, Kansas, and that's where I was a scout as a youth. I joined Boy Scouts at 11 years old, and my brothers and I, we grew up in the scouting organization, like literally and figuratively, and had so much fun. We went to our local Boy Scout camp, which is H. Bartle Scout Reservation. It's in Heart of America Council, and we did that, and we also all went to jamborees, national jamborees. Then it was at Fort AP Hill, Virginia. These days, obviously, it's at the Bechtel Reserve, and we just absolutely loved it. It was, I would say, we're four brothers, and it was really the defining factor in our lives, and it was really because of our grandfather, who was a scoutmaster for many, many years of our local troop. So we had kind of a family tradition of scouting, and I certainly admit that scouts is really the defining factor in my life today.
Well, I love that. And you also, got your eagle, and it looks like 3 palms there. So that means you went above and beyond the required number of merit badges that you needed to get. But coming in from the United States and going to Israel, where you now live, what was the scouting experience, and then why decide to launch BSI?
Great. So when you move to a different place, you like to try to find things that are familiar or important to you. And that's what I did when I decided to move to Israel about 25 years ago. I was just after high school, so I was 19, and I decided that, one of the things that was still so important to me was to be part of scouting however I can. So when I arrived in Israel, I looked for the local scouting organization, which is called Sofim. And they obviously were very excited to have me take part in their program. And I worked with Sofim as an adult leader for a couple of years. And then a bunch of years later, I actually decided to start my own scouting organization, which is what we have today, BSI, and formulate a program which is a little bit more similar to the program that I grew up in Heart of America Council, like in BSA. So I decided to kind of start a program that's independent scouting organization, but very much giving a lot of credit to and on the shoulders of giants, as they would say, in terms of using BSA's experience and the other scouting organizations' experience from around the world to build a program that is really robust and really fun and really adventurous, and is also very challenging and rewarding as well. So we are about 4 years, we're almost celebrating our 4th year, and it has been a fantastic experience for all of the boys involved. Right now, it's servicing the city that we live in, here in Efrat, which is a little bit south of Jerusalem. And we have 48 scouts. It's a boys troop between the ages of 10, and our oldest scouts, our trailblazers, as we call them, are 17.
Thinking about some of that, are there certain activities and things that really resonate well with your scouts, and helped to really want to bring in the whole experience for everyone?
Yes. Well, people in Israel, families and kids are very much outdoor oriented. People here love to hike and camp and all of that. So when we said that we were going to be doing a lot of hiking and camping and outdoor skills and adventures, obviously that was a really big deal. And I think a lot of our scouts, what they love most is when we get outdoors, right? We learn every week at our meetings different scout skills, and we learn really important first aid skills and life skills. And when you go outside and you get out in the mountains or the desert, or you're hiking or you're camping, you get to use all of that, and you get to do things that are challenging and rewarding as well. So our scouts, they love the outdoor aspect, they love the leadership aspect, and they've really taken on the Scout Oath and Law as the backbone of their scouting experience.
Are there new traditions that you're hoping to incorporate as well with the Israeli culture? And what are some of the things that you're looking to bring to that scouting experience?
Absolutely. And that's a fun question, because, as I started this organization, I found other people that moved here from countries that had scouting, and they kind of were drawn to this. And one of our main questions is, and we learned this in Wood Badge actually, Chris, is showing reverence and being grateful for tradition, but not being captive to
Right.
it. And that's in any organization, especially ours, which is a budding new organization. So we've taken a lot of the wonderful and great things from the different scouting organizations, BSA obviously at the top of that list, but we are also adapting it to our surroundings. So obviously simple things like the outdoors and the plants and the snakes and all of the things that you would assume. We have some of the same, but we also have really different things here that you don't really have in North America, like chameleons.
Hmm.
That's one of the fun things they don't have in the New World. But on an organizational level and traditions, we are trying to look at everything that we do or everything that we are taking from a different scouting organization and figuring out how it would look if it was really Israeli. And the interesting thing about Israel is similar to America, or at least the original founding fathers of America, of the United States, it was really about a melting pot. So Israel is really comprised of people from all over the world that have moved to Israel in the last 100 or so years to be part of the country here and to be citizens, which means that we have a lot of different people and a lot that came from a lot of different places, which means that to be Israeli really has a very open interpretation, right? Everyone's very Israeli in different ways. I came from the United States. Somebody else might come from Morocco or from London or from Australia or, even Russia. And we all kind of figure it out together. We have obviously our tradition, our Jewish tradition and our biblical tradition, which helps us to kind of figure that out sometimes. But the idea is whenever we can do something that we feel is very true to being in Israel with our scouting organization, we're always doing it. One of the great examples is a lot of closing ceremonies have a musical taps, like a trumpet or bugler playing taps, and it's kind of a silent moment at the end of ceremonies or meetings or flag ceremonies. And for a while we were doing the same thing, and then at some point we moved on to using what's called a shofar. It's a ram's horn that we use on holidays and special occasions and also solemn events. And so instead of using a bugle, we actually use this big hollowed out ram's horn, and we kind of have one long, slow blast of it. And it's a real nice kind of reverent and wonderful moment. And that's just one example of things that we're, kind of figuring out how to make it our own here and make it much more Israeli.
Awesome. Well, in order to kind of draw out a little bit more of the International Brotherhood of Scouting, as well as the cultural differences, one thing that we're going to be doing shortly after everyone's watching this video is I'm going to have all of my scouts write a letter to each one of your scouts. So everyone's going to have a one-on-one letter and asking them questions. So hopefully we can have a pen pal exchange of some of the questions that our scouts have and sharing their experiences. And hopefully your scouts can reply at some point with their experience.
That's
as well.
fantastic. Yeah, our scouts would love that. In fact, one of the other things that I experienced from after we came back was I staying in touch with my fellow Wood Badgers and some of the troops that have, Boy Scout troops. We are arranging kind of a Zoom with different groups from our different troops, like our PLC, our patrol leaders, right? Meeting with other patrol leaders, and technology these days, is a blessing, allows us to do all these things. So we would be more than happy to do that. And we have, scouts that just joined. We have 2 intakes a year where, in this case, boys that should just turn 10 a month after the intake join. So we don't yet have Cub Scouts here. It's in the plans. So boys here join at 10, and they have kind of a little bit of a quasi Weeblo experience before they actually jump fully in. So they have like their own special patrol before they actually graduate into a regular patrol. So it's kind of similar. And we have 10-year-olds that just joined, and our oldest scouts are 17. So we've got plenty of scouts in between that I'm sure would love to be in contact with some of your scouts.
Awesome. Well, Erik, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. I know that I've loved hearing the stories. I'm on the Facebook page, so I see the posts as you guys go out on your adventures. But thank you for taking the time, and we look forward to having an exchange.
Absolutely. I'm so happy that you reached out. I'm so happy to have met you and made your acquaintance, and looking forward to more scouting exchanges. And I also just want to say this is really exciting for us. We're actually sending 7 scouts and 2 adult leaders to the National Jamboree at Summit Bechtel Reserve this summer. So if any of your scouts are there, or if you're there, anybody else is there, we're more than happy to meet up and meet in person as well.
Well, I plan on being there because I luckily get to be on staff. So I will be sure to meet your guys and see what we can do in terms of maybe even sharing some more of their stories and their experiences along the way.
And patches.
Oh, absolutely. we got plenty of council patches to share. All
All
right.
right.
Erik, have a great one. Shabbat shalom. And
Thank
we'll
you.
talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.